Daniel Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up here in the SEC in Week 13 of this 2021 college football season. And it'll be over the Ole Miss Rebels and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Huge matchup for both these teams as we head into Week 13. We got Ole Miss on one side. This team is very much still in contention for a New Year's Six bowl game, and that is the main goal for the Rebels as we head into rivalry week. But first, they got to get past Mississippi State, which the Bulldogs still have a lot to play for as well, and they're considered a dark horse in the SEC. So, yeah, obviously a huge matchup for both these teams as we head into Week 13. Big rivalry game as well. Lots at stake. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Ole Miss beat Vanderbilt 31-17 last week. Overall, decent win. I mean, Vanderbilt's by far the worst team in the SEC, so it may have been a bit closer than people would have expected, but still, win's a win. Ole Miss is having a great season at 9-2 right now with a 3-game winning streak and currently ranked number 8 in the AP poll. That could be different for the college football playoff rankings. We'll see tomorrow night when they come out. Mississippi State, I'm assuming, will still be ranked as they're ranked 25th in the Week 12 college football playoff rankings, but they were not ranked in the AP poll, so that's why they're not ranked here. But yeah, Mississippi State, they beat Tennessee State 55-10 last week. Good win. Obviously, Tennessee State is a FCS opponent, so it was an easy win for the Bulldogs, but they're 7-4 heading into this game. Kind of a polarizing team here with the Bulldogs. They've got 4 losses, but at the same time, they got several good wins over a couple of ranked teams, and they do have a 2-game winning streak as well heading into this matchup. Game will be on Thursday night, Thanksgiving, November 25th, Starkville, Mississippi. So Bulldogs are the home team, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Spread currently is Mississippi State by 1, so about as close as a spread as you can get. Over under is 60.5. FPI is going Mississippi State 52.7%. So yeah, Bulldogs are favored in this matchup. Not too surprising seeing that. Although Ole Miss, I mean, it's going to be a very close game. It could easily go either way. I mean, this game is almost as close to a coin toss as you can get. I mean, you got Mississippi State as the home team. They're playing very well right now, kind of a dark horse in the SEC. And then, of course, you got Ole Miss with Matt Corral. Can never go against him. So, yeah, series history, Ole Miss leads at 63-46. Win streak is Ole Miss by 1. And in the last 5, Mississippi State leads at 3-2. So, especially in the past decade, we've seen a pretty split series. Both teams have won some games. Stat comparison for this matchup, Ole Miss has 36 points per game, 25 points allowed, 286 pass yards game, 231 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 237 passing, 194 rushing. So obviously for Ole Miss, the main strength of this football team is the offensive side of the ball. Matt Corral being one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, now that he's declared for the NFL draft, he is actually projected as the top quarterback in the class. So yeah, Matt Corral, he's an outstanding quarterback, and he's a big reason why the Rebels have been such a contender this season. For yards allowed then, 237 passing, you have 194 rushing. So obviously defensively, this team isn't quite as good, especially with the rushing defense, but yeah, offensively, that's really what's carried this Ole Miss team. Mississippi State, 31 points per game, 24 points allowed, 390 pass yards a game. That is insane. That is a very heavy passing offense there with Mississippi State. And then for rush yards a game, 62. As for yards allowed, 229 passing, 96 for rushing. Thing is here for Mississippi State, if this was a Bulldog team that was heavy in the rushing game, that would actually be to their benefit because Ole Miss's rushing defense and defensive line is much worse than their secondary. I mean, Ole Miss's secondary still has an occasional big play missed. I mean, once in a while, obviously, but I mean, it's not. I mean, their secondary is better than their defensive line and rushing defense. So that's definitely something to note here going into this matchup is how heavy of a passing offense the Bulldogs are. Some recent matchups here, Ole Miss, of course, beat Vanderbilt 31-17, beat Texas A&M. That was a big win, 29-19. Texas A&M is a good football team. Also beat Liberty 27-14, lost to Auburn 20-31, tough loss there on the road. And then, of course, they beat LSU 31-17. As for Mississippi State, beat Tennessee State 55-10, beat Auburn 43-34. Lost to Arkansas 28-31, beat Kentucky and beat Vanderbilt as well. So obviously Kentucky at the time was ranked 12th, and yeah, Kentucky's fallen off since. And same thing with Auburn. Auburn's kind of fallen off as well. So obviously, especially for Mississippi State here, the main thing about this football team is, I mean, there are a few inconsistencies for sure. I mean, they can go from having a great performance like they did, for example, against Kentucky, beat them by 14 points, and then the next week you lose to Arkansas by 3. So both teams do have some inconsistencies, especially Mississippi State, but both teams are extremely talented. Some key points here. Ole Miss being 9-2, Matt Corral, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Going to be tough to stop him. Both losses have been on the road for Ole Miss. something to note there. And a New Year's Six bowl potentially on the line in this matchup. I mean, even if Ole Miss loses this game at 9-3, I mean, I probably wouldn't assume that they would be in a New Year's Six bowl game if they lost this game. They'd probably still get into the Outback or Citrus Bowl, but certainly New Year's Six bowl implications are on the line here for Ole Miss. As for Mississippi State, I mean, this team could still get to a good bowl game as well with a win here at 8-4, and you probably have them ranked in the top 20. Yeah, Mississippi State certainly has got a good chance at making a decent bowl game if they can win here. Yeah, once again, Mississippi State, good team that has been inconsistent this season. Very heavy passing offense. Will Rogers, I would definitely say, is one of the overlooked SEC quarterbacks. I mean, he's a huge part of the reason why Mississippi State has got 7 wins at this point in the season. I mean, they've got nearly 400 passing yards a game, which is outstanding. Obviously, the rushing game has been lackluster for this football team, to say the least, but the passing game has been outstanding for Mississippi State. That said, let's get to the prediction here for the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I'm going to go Ole Miss here, 27-24, and so this is actually going against the spread. This is predicting an upset here by going with Ole Miss right now, but yeah, so probability 55% towards Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss to cover. Over under 60.5, and I'm taking the under as well. I mean, this is, once again, as I said before, this is basically almost a coin toss. You got two teams that are very equally matched, very equally talented. You got Ole Miss, obviously, who is much better on offense than Mississippi State is, but I mean, then again, the Rebels, I mean, this is a football team that has got potential to make it to New Year's Six bowl games. So, I mean, Ole Miss has a lot more on the line here than Mississippi State. I mean, the Bulldogs can still get to a good bowl game for sure. But for Ole Miss here, a New Year's Six bowl game is on the line. So I think the Rebels are going to be ready to play here in this matchup. And I'm assuming that, I mean, Matt Corral, he's got to have a big performance, and I'm sure that he will. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss here, 27-24. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game. And I appreciate you guys all watching, as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys later.